Make the pain go away. Somebody make the pain go away. This is repeating a problem in your head because you haven't found the language for it. He's not just rapping, but it feels like he's venting. And then he hits that shit these doctors can't fix. This that shit you're laying. The pain that he's feeling is not just physical, it's cognitive, it's mental. It's a type of emotional discomfort that you just can't medicate. It's existential, it's really not clinical. Paranoia.
Heaven knows how it gets, dealing with the cold and the wind. Fire flicker on when it's wet, dry your eyes while it's getting big. Heaven knows life getting tense. Try to lock me out, crying in that bitch. Gotta think about the size and the strength of the niggas you conspiring against. Considering the time and the debt, I think you packed a little light for the trip.
Paranoia is one of those songs where you can literally hear Shane Eagle's brain pacing back and forth behind every line. And you know me, bro, I've said it plenty of times. I'll say it 50 more times. Green is definitely not my favorite Shane Eagle project. It's not touching Yellow, it's not touching Dark Moon Flower, but every time Paranoia comes on, my ears do perk up and I'm like, okay, this one though, this one's different. It's short, it's sharp, and it feels like he's cracking the top of his skull open just to let the steam out, you know? So today, I want to unpack why the song hits, and yeah, yes, I'm going to be talking about rhyme schemes and all of that, but I'm more focused on what mental state he is documenting here, and how exactly he communicates that without over-explaining anything. Welcome to the very first episode of the Backstage Pass Lyric Breakdown Edition. With the Mandi show is all 2D baby, 2D baby. Let's do it. Let's go. If you rock with this kind of deep dive, hit like so I know to keep doing them. Just subscribe to help grow the channel. To help fund the new changes. Yeah. Subscribe to the Mandi show. Pegaton. But yeah, let's get into the song itself. The song starts with the mantra. He says, somebody make the pain go away. Somebody make the pain go away. Repeating a problem in your head because you haven't found the language for it yet. He's not just rapping. He's not just performing, but it feels like he's venting. And then he hits he says this that shit these doctors can't fix. This that shit you're laying you can't. Now this should tell you two things, right? Firstly, the pain that he's feeling is not just physical, it's cognitive, it's mental, and it's a type of emotional discomfort that you just can't medicate. It's existential, it's really not clinical. And number two, basically he's rejecting escapism. Even self-destruction won't numb what he's feeling. So before the verse even starts, he's already laid out the emotional climate. He's told us what mind state he's in. He's feeling unrest, hypervigilance, and a mind that really won't shut up. It's basically a brace yourself warning, like get ready because I'm about to get into some really deep shit, right? And so he continues, right? I really want to rap this one. I'm not gonna get copyrighted, guys. I'm not. How does he go? He says, paranoia and troubles is on my mind. I don't watch these niggas, but they change like the time. Enormous flows like mountains you can't climb. Wouldn't feel these niggas even if I was blind. Wouldn't give them 5 even if I had time. Niggas can't stand it cause all that they do is lie. I don't fuck hoes, my nigga, I stay focused. You still tripping by Tam and Angelina. I don't sell out, I came to sell out arenas. Came from the jungle with fiends and hyenas. I don't split cream, my nigga, I split spleens. You and your niggas play games on split screens. Me and my niggas want M's like Arvine. Holy applause, holy applause, holy applause. But yeah, that's really it. That's literally it. That's the verse. That's the whole verse. But I want to start with the first line, right? He says, paranoia and troubles is on my mind. This is basically him diagnosing himself. It's like no metaphor, no filter. He's literally naming the discomfort. There's no doubt about it. He's dealing with some paranoia and he's dealing with some troubles that he's like really fighting. And he says, I don't watch these niggas, but they change like the time. It's a bit of a switch up kind of, but it also does like help us delve into what mind state he's in. That's mistrust, right? Laid over detachment. He's not really checking for people, but he's still registering that these people switch up. No one is all the way loyal, especially in the rap game. For some added outside context, you know, he didn't allude to some issues with his longtime friend Vaughn. I don't know Vaughn what, but he did mention Vaughn in a song in Let It Flow. album in Yellow, the album Yellow. Go check that album out. I think it's his magnum opus. But anyways, in the rap industry, people switch up, people change up, and yeah, I think that's the essence of paranoia, right? You don't need evidence. The brain creates it for you, but also he has lived experience, so he notices patterns, right? And also what he says, enormous flows like mountains you can't climb. Now what does this tell us? Self-confidence, ego, maybe not ego, competence. He's stating that his skill is a fact and not a brag, like it's undeniable. He's undeniable, right? And also he's reached a level that a lot of rappers can only dream about, so a lot of people will never reach the level that he is at. Basically, that's what the mountain is. He's just not feeling these other rappers. And then he says, wouldn't give him 5 even if I had the time. He doesn't want connection. He's not dapping any of these rappers up. He wants isolation. It's a natural coping response, right? When your mind feels overloaded. And also, again, just further sucking us into, why did I say sucking? But he's pulling us into this state of mind that he's in. This paranoia has basically made him to isolate himself from his peers, right? So I think that is a natural coping response, when your mind kind of feels overloaded. And then he says, niggas can't stand it because all that they do is lie. Again, frustration now. And frustration, on top of that, there's disillusionment. He's tired of masking. He's tired of the performative relationships. And he's too mentally drained to pretend that everything is fine. And then what else he says? He says, I don't fuck hoes, my nigga. I stay focused. Of course, I don't think he's talking about abstinence here. It could be. He could be. But I don't think that's what he's talking about. I think that in my overthinking of this, I feel like he's just talking about cutting off dopamine distractions. When your mind is loud, you cling to whatever control you can hold on to. And so maybe he's talking about like he's cutting off those quick fixes, and he's not doing anything that's gonna like lead him astray from his path, from this goal that he has, this tunnel vision that he has, right? So he's staying away from women, but it could also be a metaphor for any other quick fix of like dopamine or whatever. And then he says, you still tripping about Tam and Angelina, right? Tam and Angelina, I think these are random names, but I think it's just building off of his previous line saying, I don't fuck hoes, my nigga, I stay focused. But you guys are so freaked out. You are so freaked out, you're so horny that you let your lust get in the way of your goals, right? He's just further emphasizing the difference between him and all his other peers, right? This is the contrast. And also he's dealing with existential dread. I think other people are dealing with petty drama. It emphasizes the gap between the life that he lives versus the world around him, and also could be a source of his paranoia. Him and other people are not in the same lane. They don't have the same priorities, right? And then he says, I don't sell out, I came to sell out arenas. And basically that's where he is. Optimism in the middle of anxiety. Basically he's reminding himself of his goals. He's reminding himself that, this is where I want to be, this is where I want to go, a reminder of purpose, a grounding line maybe. But also it's a cool play on the words, right? Wrestlers always say that all the time in promos. Fans will say, you sold out. I think Ric Flair said it, and he said, I didn't sell out, I sold out Madison Square Garden, right? I always love to hear it. But in Shane's mind state, especially in this song specifically, presumably, I think it's more of a grounding line to say that, I won't sell out, I won't sign a deal, I'll sell out arenas. I think selling out to him would be signing a record label, basically selling his soul to a record label because of the exploitation that goes on with these record labels, right? So yeah, it's another aspect in that. And also he says, I came from a jungle with fiends and hyenas. I think that could be a reference to, the first thing that jumped to my mind was,
We got a hyena up in here.
So it could be a reference to that. But also I think he's talking about upbringing, which explains the paranoia. Now, I feel like he could have delved deeper into this here in this song. The song is very short, but in his latest album, Never Meet Your Heroes, I think that he does a far better job in, giving us more in terms of this upbringing that explains paranoia, that explains his behaviors, that explains why he is the way that he is, and also how it affects different people differently. I listened to the song Lil D on Never Meet Your Heroes, but yeah. And then he says, I think that at the core of this line, if your childhood environment taught you to anticipate danger, adulthood, doesn't magically just like erase that, so that paranoia is gonna stay with you until you eventually work it out on your own. And then he says, I don't split cream, my nigga, I split spleens. This is one of my favorite lines. It's just something in the delivery, right? But yeah, this is hyperbole, I guess, hyperbole as armor, perhaps, where he's using violent imagery. I don't think it's only to threaten, but also I think it's to exaggerate, like to show you like, yo, I'm really serious about my craft. This rap shit is real, and you better be ready to die about it, like I am, right? Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite lines in that song. Like I mentioned, the delivery is I just like it. It's just the confidence in it, the bravado in that, I just like it. I really like it. And then he says, you and your niggas play games with split screens. Again, playing off of the previous line. I think so. But, contrasting himself, you guys like to play around. Me, I don't play around with money. I don't split money. I split spleens. You and your friends play games with split screens. Priorities. Where are your priorities, bro? Shane Eagle, he's saying he's not playing around. He's saying he's not casual. This art is not recreational. It's survival to him, but it's also his everything. It's very serious, unlike you guys that maybe aren't taking it as seriously as I am. Now, for me, I'm not gonna say what I think about that. Okay, let me put in my 2 cents. I think that people make music for many different reasons, but I think that for that reason, people can't be compared. We just have to look at why this person is making music, who this person's target audience is, and what message they're trying to convey. And I'm sorry if I'm speaking too fast, but I'm like I was really hoping to make this a very short video. But then he goes the last line in the verse, he says, me and my niggas want M's like Irvin. I don't know, Irvin. I think it's Irvin, but he pronounces it Arvin. I don't know why he does that. Stylistic choice, maybe to force a rhyme, which is cool. I like it. It sounds good. But I think that, what you get from that line is purpose, ambition, legacy. It's just that this is the anchor that stabilizes the whole verse. You get to see why Shane Eagle is doing this. This is why he's in the rap game. And yeah, for the outro, this is kind of like a self-check, so to speak. He says, don't forget this whole thing is a dream, nigga, and you're in control of all of it all, right? This is I think one of the most crucial parts of the song. After all the paranoia, after all the fear, after all the disconnection, he ends it with a grounding statement, a cognitive reframing technique. He reminds himself and us, the listeners, right? He's saying like, yo, this life might feel chaotic, but I'm not powerless. You can still, this just because you're feeling that paranoia, you can get out of it. You're not powerless. So it's almost like it's self-therapy, in that outro. But yeah, that's just me explaining the lyrics, right? But in this section, I just want to get more of a reflection on this song. Tell you guys what I love about the song. But what I love about the song, right? And honestly about Shane Eagle in general, is that he doesn't hide from the uncomfortable stuff. The song is kind of short though. I feel like he could have delved in deeper, but it's still perfect. It's still fine. But in terms of the uncomfortable stuff, the anxiety, the overthinking, and those thoughts of like my brain is sprinting and my body is standing still, that kind of feeling, that's what I think of, that's what I envision when I think about paranoia. So he doesn't turn it into a melodrama, and he doesn't romanticize it. He's just telling you, bro, this is where my head is at today. And a lot of people relate to that, far more than the fake confidence that you typically encounter within rap music. So yes, the bars are sharp, he's Shane Eagle, of course they are, but for me, it's the humanity that carries the song. And that's why I've always said, Green and Akira, they had their moments, but they didn't really stretch him. They didn't give us this level of rawness consistently. But in Never Meet Your Heroes, I think that felt like Shane sort of like waking up, like he remembered how to tap into that introspective, vulnerable, let me just talk to you version of himself. Maybe I need to just listen to those albums again, but I think I've listened to them enough. Maybe it's just that the message is there still, but maybe I just don't like the way that it sounds, and I feel like that's perfectly valid in my opinion. Perfectly valid. But you know, Paranoia I think is the prototype to Never Meet Your Heroes. It's like the seed, you know, the blueprint. It's short, it's honest, it's straight from the gut. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about that. If you're feeling these breakdowns, hit like, drop a comment on what song I should do next. You know, this is the new format. And yeah, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, expect 3 episodes or 1 episode every second day from Monday, Wednesday and Friday, right, of the Backstage Pass. And then on Sundays, every second Sunday, we're gonna have the grand talk show, you know, the Mandi show, which is a longer podcast format, longer, you know, discussions. I'm gonna have some guests on there, hopefully see which one of my friends would like to hop on there. We're gonna get some nice topics going on there, nice collaboration. But yeah, if you know, drop down in the comments what you guys think about the song. Am I overthinking this? I probably am. You know I am. But yeah, just let me know what song I should do next, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Let's grow the channel, guys. Please. You Begathon. Welcome to the Backstage Pass, guys. I'll see you on the next one.